captured by David.
Morning train from London line to Manchester under clear blue skies. We're walking down these familiar streets, seeing long-awaited memories in our eyes. 30 years of miles and longing days.
A fine bright morning here in Manchester with a clear sky ahead. Today I'm expecting a couple of very special visitors. Queeny and Candy are making the trip up from London. It's been a year since our last reunion, and as I prepare the garden for their arrival, I can't help but look back.
Reconnected, the years, the distant miles, a London to Manchester journey.
They say life moves in circles. For Queeny, Candy and me, that circle started back in 1995. The busy offices of Chinese Channel, the hum of production and the rush of marketing. We were younger, faster and, though we didn't know it then, starting a story that would take 30 years to write.
So soft and sweet. Time has taught us a gentle truth.
As we sit here in the Manchester air, the conversation flows as if 30 years were just a commercial break. We begin, as old media colleagues always do, by talking about the work. We call out the old names, revisit the projects, and laugh at deadlines that once felt like life and death. Funny how the stressful hours fade, leaving behind only the gold. Stories that seemed so ordinary back then have somehow become our finest archives, carefully preserved by the passing years. What strikes me most today isn't how much we remember, but how differently we see it all now. Back in the studio, our eyes were always fixed on the next cue, the next challenge, the next broadcast. We were moving too fast to notice the scenery. We rarely stopped to appreciate the people traveling alongside us, the ones quietly building the set of our lives and forging bonds that time could never break. As the years accumulate, time teaches you a gentle truth. A career is measured by destinations, but a life is defined by the companions who share the journey. The milestones matter, of course, but it is the friendships formed in the quiet corners of those busy days that give the whole production its true meaning. Sitting here, surrounded by the familiar rhythm of their laughter, faces that have traveled beside me for more than 3 decades, I am overwhelmed by a simple, deep gratitude. Grateful for the history we share, yes, but even more for the beautiful reality that we are still here, still connected, still adding new, heartfelt chapters to a journey that began all those years ago. Life has a way of demanding our attention, and as the years flowed by, we drifted into our own separate stories. But the best scripts always have a way of bringing the lead characters back together. Last year, a cruise reconnected us at the same table, and today, that table has moved from the sea to my back garden here in Manchester. It's a different pace now. There are no studio cues or production clocks to watch, just the soft afternoon sun and the simple joy of being together. There's something special about tea in the garden. It's the sound of filling in the gaps of the decades we missed, realizing that while the world changed, the bond stayed exactly the same.
Now you're back in my garden, right here by my side. From the London skyline to a Manchester sun, some friendships are stories that are never quite done. Oh, it's tea in the garden and stories to tell, like the years never passed and we're all doing well. From the marketing floor.
As the afternoon light begins to shift, the circle grows a little wider. We're joined by William, who shared those creative days at the channel with us, and his wife, May. Moving from the garden to the dinner table, the dialogue never falters, and the years seem to melt away. There's a rare comfort in being with people who knew you then and know you now. Having all of us back together for an evening meal is a reminder that while the locations in our lives might change, the core cast remains the same. The next morning brings a new script and a fresh canvas. We decide to take our stories on the road, heading down to the historic waters of Worsley Dry Dock. Walking along the canal, surrounded by the heritage of the North, it feels fitting. Like these old waterways, our friendship has carried a lot of history, weathered the seasons, and still flows remarkably clear. From the quiet paths of Worsley, we chase a different kind of tradition, heading over to the Trafford Centre for high tea at John Lewis. There's something beautifully civilised about a second afternoon of tea and talk, a chance to slow down the clock just a little bit more before the weekend draws to a close. But a true production always saves its best scene for the grand finale. As evening approaches, the circle locks back into place. William and May join the cast once again, bringing us back to full strength as we gather around the table at Golden Lake. Over a Chinese meal, the atmosphere is electric, with 30 years of shared language. It's the perfect closing scene for a 2-day shoot. We started decades ago as colleagues in a bustling studio, but sitting here tonight, surrounded by the warmth of food, laughter and faces that have never altered in my eyes. We are simply family. 30 years since the studio, and it feels like we've just stepped off the set. From London to Manchester, the journey was long, but sitting here in the garden with all of us together, it's exactly where we're meant to be. One afternoon down, an October cruise on the horizon, and a lifetime of memories to keep us going. I guess some things never go out of production. We've spent our lives looking at screens, but the best views are always right here in front of us. This is David signing off on another chapter, a screenshot moment for the archives of a friendship that's still in production. My motion diary, 2026, because some stories are simply too good to ever let go.